Good morning, fellow Ambazonians. Today, na Sunday, number 26th day for the month of June 2022. My name na Capo Daniel, the spokesman of the Ambazonian Governing Council, aka Sense Past King, una own countryman. Una welcome for our daily podcast, a program where they bring meaningful information, facts-based analysis for help us navigate through this journey to our freedom, the independence of the former British Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. Una welcome, una come good, my own country people them. Today, for this episode, I go want for talk and for comment and for react about something where they go on for within our struggle, where they call them say, Frog Must Go campaign. Frog Must Go campaign, na a campaign for drive Francophonism for Ambazonia. It be championed by no other than Ambazonian patriot and firebrand Paachie. The campaign, it then gather a lot of traction, and it also then gather a lot of international attention. Those attentions and those communique in that regard, it then be discussed with Paachie, where the champion and lead this campaign of all frog must go. It be very important, make our people them know, say the Ambazonian Governing Council and the Ambazonian Defense Forces do not participate or support the campaign of all frog must go. It be very important, make them understand this one. The fact say Ambazonian Governing Council in need to support this campaign, it no mean that say the Ambazonian Governing Council understand or appreciate the principle behind the impact where frogs or Francophone or Cameroon citizens living in our territory, it go get them for our independence. As a matter of fact, if Francophones, all Cameroon citizens leave Ambazonia, it will be very good for our struggle. Nevertheless, for take a campaign where it be based on xenophobia, the fear of Francophones citizens inside our Ambazonian liberation movement or within Ambazonian territory during a time of war, it not being a proper way for push any narrative or for structure the conduct of our liberation struggle. We don't always insist from the beginning, say this our war now for defend ourselves and for fight for liberate our homeland. We don't always insist for define our struggle as not a xenophobic attack against Francophones within our territory, but something will be targeted against Cameroon as a state and her state institutions, including her collaborators, be them Francophones or Anglophones, Ambazonians or La République du Cameroon. It be very crucial as our quest require a lot of sympathy and empathy and support from the international community. There are things that we can have from ourselves, but there are things that we need from others, especially when it comes to our independence. Where it means say we not just supposed to focus for communicate with ourselves, but we need to think about the type of signal we send them for the international community as well as the rest of the world. Our fight now a fight of external self-determination. We no go seek any support from Cameroon or her citizens, but definitely sympathy within Cameroon and the pricking of their moral conscience is also critical, as even slavery was defeated by the pricking of the conscience of the population that benefited from slavery. That is why propaganda by the occupier and the aggressor is always targeted to their own population, and we need to unravel that. A sympathetic population of La République to the Ambazonian people's plight will be a big, huge and a big blowback to their military operations and the morals of their forces. Making Cameroonians to demand, is this fight worth it for Paul Biya? Is this fight worth it for their name? It's a very important question we want the Cameroonians, the Francophones, the La République citizens to ask themselves. We don't watch a very horrific video where it can be pushed to us by international partners and where it can be lastly suppressed in social media. And I'll not go to share that particular video, but I go and play an excerpt for the video before I talk about them. The video, it shows on par where they don't cut it for a back a neck halfway, cut him up, it start for a lips, it go reach right for corner a neck, kokoti will collapse, chakara in hand, the pa it cry, very, very, very bad image for share. And any person will watch this video, the video they accompany the part they talk for Mbunda language, audio way be shared together with this video, they talk to the part they be moving for inside bus, then kokodi will collapse because they been a francophone semi-frog they must go. This video, any person where you watch this video, he go cool, he go quench he had, and he go ask himself a lot of moral questions them where no go favor any person will carry out such atrocity. The targeting of innocent individuals like Dipa for caught them na a war crime and a crime against humanity. And we don't want to make it stain our liberation. We don't know the people the way they commit this act, but this act it play into the narrative for the campaign of frogs must go. Now, one thing for people that will carry out random actions of crimes and criminality, but for international community, if those actions them it be as a result of systemic planning and a push, then it be significant enough for them to consider an impact for define the conduct of a struggle. We know one make the Frog Must Go campaign, it define the conduct of our struggle. Our people they need to understand this logic. We know, or we will know, say, when refugee then come out plenty of a country, the international community they pick on the amount of refugee them in order for no say some problem they will in need their attention. The fact that our refugee they be the run they go for inside Nigeria, they go register. We will insist me all them register so that me the international community and the world they know say some problem they will need their attention for solve them. This one we know say that refugee them going to Nigeria it be good for our struggle because it will get their attention for solve the problem. But any person where it go deliberately go begin the drive refugee them me then go for inside Nigeria. The fact that they go for them because some person it drive them. Because he wants to make a help Ambazonia, he go get the opposite effect. That means say any man way for feel look and say our refugee they come out they wrong over Nigeria, and then he go come for can solve that problem. If that person sees the people that they go now because some person they drive them for political reasons for benefit those people them, he go get the opposite effect. Now the same logic apply for this Frog Must Go.
So for put them very simple, wait away at the talk now say for francophone them or frog them for leave Ambazonia, na good thing. But for the run a campaign for drive them away, it will be na a bad thing. It will make their leaving of our territory. It get the opposite effect for our international partners and sympathizer them for our struggle, including within their population. It could boost the morale for their own forces, for them for feel and get a legitimate fight against Ambazonia, and they will be more motivated for inside the battlefield. It will make the international community feel so will be driven by xenophobia, and it will make their heart it will cool towards we. Yes, if I may frog them leave Ambazonia, if I may all Cameroon citizens them, then leave Ambazonia. But you know fine say make we run a campaign for effectuate this particular thing. No be all thing where you do and where you talk am. This one now one of those things and way you don't need for level meetings and play out the way they play. You know if you go begin the drive people that say me then go come out of your country just because you want to say me refugee that number them plenty. They mean the war say the crisis, the war it be strong. You will get the opposite effect for the war. It really help they always criticize Cameroon saying a bad government. Cameroon government if they do plenty test them for people for HIV. Not be because if we want treat the patients but because if we want make their statistic it go up and then make the United Nations give them more money for AIDS patients them. If when the international community will discover them, they nobody give the Cameroon the money where they want them. Simply because they know say those statistics be backed up by humanitarian needs, but be driven by greedy people the way they want to take corruption. If we try for begin the campaign, so one drive francophone them for our territory, then the francophone they are leaving, it will be interpreted as Ambazonian then be xenophobic. Ambazonian then be driven not by the nationalism. This war now war for independence, and all of our campaign them the need for based on principles of nationalism and liberation or decolonization. When I remember, Time where plenty people them, Cameroon agent them within our struggle, agent provocateur them. Previously, they began bring out the same campaign, will be reject them. Collectively, be na because na some particular people they be bring them. It be na because it be wrong, and if we redefine the conduct of our struggle, this type of campaign them get away for redefine the struggle. Narrative will be very important. Now why don't we fight so hard for maintain our narrative for the international community? We no want until we can destroy them. And this particular campaign, it don't take away a lot of human resources for the Ambazonian Governing Council, when the main preacher, the main champion, the main advocate for our nationalism amongst all the nationalist movement. Most of our strong supporters, most of our strong activists, they need to still push the agenda for the Ambazonian Governing Council. That they waste their time, they push a campaign for the frog must go. It take away human resources and it distract our population. This campaign is misleading. This campaign is taking away resources. We need to know say the Governing Council, now an organization, an institution where it gets specialism. They talk say more heads are better than one. Their policy that they be well thought of, it go through process before the one brings something in a policy. And when those things that be put on the table, sometimes now because it be urgent for help the organization, for push a narrative, for push a momentum, or for justify something they do and for diplomacy. At the time we will need maximum support from our base and our activists, them where they support we, then we instigate them, they push an agenda, sometime in direct contradiction with what we do. That means each time we put a message, they suppress that message with this idea of frog must go campaign. Yes, if I may frog then go, but no to a campaign for frog must go. The campaign itself is the problem, not the issue of frog must go. So make man no twist money work. He talk. But it be important make our people that know the truth about this. A liberation struggle, now a multi-phase fight. You get different places of a fight. You get diplomacy, you get the war for ground. The war for ground is not even strong past the diplomacy. The diplomacy be more important than the fighting for ground, even although all of them relate. Because the fighting for ground, it will be useless without diplomacy. Diplomacy, if it even tries self without fighting, but it will still be useless without fighting. But both of them, it be equal. Now one, if they accomplish the other one. Without one, the other one, it be useless. So you get multiple different directions. You get media war, you get propaganda war, you get narrative war, you get a lot of different fronts them. You know if you don't choose one, you hang you for this and not only for this one. Hey, or you talk say I be not only for diplomacy, or are they not only for military, or are they not only for frog must go, yeah, and then every day you do only for the same topic. If you did one so, but before you go and finish the fight for one, you don't lose the other one, and then you will lose the war. So we need to get a balanced approach. Ambazonians, we need to have a balanced approach. Now, why that way institutions are good. Now, why that way they talk say by now, after 5 years of fighting for our freedom, nobody should be acting as a lone wolf. Everybody should incorporate their actions and activities within institutions where you will get guidelines, you will get discipline, you will get foresight. Human beings that the best operate collectively, not through institutions. Now, why that way did they talk about organization? When people then come together, they must form an organization. The organization must get an organ with competent people them for help guide them so that they will be effective and they will attain their goal. For this Ambazonian liberation war, we'll get several factions them. All man must align himself for the one way if he say he get the best practices, he adopt the best practices where he will give you freedom. The more we gather around the one way he get the best practices, the more we gather around the one way he get the best organs, the more we gather around the one way be more effective, now the more we win. And the more we, even though you get different groups them, the more that groups then collaborate, now the better way we will win. When I remember the CIA report for 1986, if we talk, so when our people they will be capable for two things, gather themselves around one leader, then it could be possible for them to win their freedom. So we don't gather ourselves. Now, which be the leader we want focus on? We get how many leaders then? If we focus to do one, focus to this one. The one way we feel say na he be the best, we no be just we feel him, or no be say we like him. Because then talk say leadership no be about emotion. Leadership na about practicality. Person way if he take action, person way if he inspire, person way if he gather, person way if he get a plan. If all we gather around one, and all man they say all man they go for day. All man need to find way for gather two for day. All man need to find way for support something way it work, where it go work. Will be obligated by patriotism for do am so. So I recall all those way that they do the campaign for Frog must go. Say if you want to say me Frog then ready go. Stop the campaign. Don't stop that campaign. Don't do act na act. Don't talk. No be everything way they must talk before they do. This one are one of those. God bless you now. And we'll start today for this country Sunday. With pray me all man it dey fine. La Republic that attack our main base heavily. We get very good report from the population where they don't begin camp settle back now. Say La Republic, if be gather population them, carry them, they be carry their die body them, they be carry 3 of them where they don't die, with 2 of them where them be seriously injured. As helicopter can drop them for inside the great state of Bui for attack our mother base way there for Yelum. La Republic then lost soldier them for day and we'll be very happy for that one. We lost soldier as well, and we don't salute the bravery from our soldier way. If we pass the day Mohammed, a very strong soldier, very, very loyal soldier, always very active, always going for mission, always hungry to go for mission for his country. We pray for his soul, and we commit and we pay allegiance to those who didn't fall before we pay allegiance to them, and we promise them, say we no go stop until the war, it will be finished, until the mission where them sacrifice their life for, it could be at 10. Now the obligation that will get them, now the duty that will get them as a nation. Forever we go owe them, and we go owe their family, and we go repay those debts for generations to come in their family. May God bless you all.